Let's not get one of those internet trends started. Or
Doesn't it
maybe we
look
should.
purple?
I don't know. Maybe that's what
Does
we
my
should
shirt
do.
look purple? Tell me.
Find out more about CWCT by determining whether or not you think this is a purple shirt or not.
I think it's my crappy monitor. Oh, it is my
This is our
crappy
hook.
monitor. That's what it
I'm getting a
is.
purple tint. I'm getting a purple tint.
Well, on my HD computer monitor, but then I have my 32-inch TV on the right, and then I have another 32-inch TV on the left.
There's some sort of rap song in there somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Well, I only recently got a real monitor. I think my friends just made me feel bad that I was using a TV for gaming. Like you could
Yeah.
see people better when they're peeking around a corner if you just upgrade your monitor. Still
Well,
bad.
yeah. Pixels are pixels.
Still bad. Middle school kids still kill me over and over again.
Everybody talks about aspect ratio. Nobody talks about dot pitch. I do not understand it.
I do.
Oh well.
I had a
Dot
conversation
pitch
over the
is everything.
weekend.
That's all there is to it.
I had a conversation over the weekend at a um on the Jersey Shore this weekend with a group of guys I met all about DPI. Talked about
All right,
DPI for
Steve,
an
do you want to
hour.
go ahead and get started?
Thank you, Amber. Yeah, so forgive me all the students coming into orientation. This team, we have a really great team here, and
Can
not
you
only
tell
do
we're
we
professors?
yeah, not only do we really enjoy doing orientation, we really enjoy doing this program, the CWCT, but we've also developed a lot of camaraderie between each other, even virtually. And I hope that if nothing less, you can see that even as virtual asynchronous students, that you can still develop a little bit of cohesion and camaraderie with your students that are in your cohort here tonight. Though this is still virtual, and sometimes you can't make lectures, the more collaboration that you can with your students, we encourage that. And a lot of our students utilize Discord and some other things you may hear about tonight and elsewhere in terms of collaboration. But thank you so much for your time tonight, and welcome to the CWCT program. We're so incredibly excited to have you. We're crossing just over 1,000 students just recently, which is very exciting. And tonight is your orientation for this starting session in August. So my name's Steve Olson. I'm out of Charlotte. I work at University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Been with the program for about a year and a half, a little longer. And really, I'm just going to be going through the agenda right now, as well as giving you a few tips about what's coming up soon. So first with the agenda, I'll be done talking in the next 6 minutes. And then Chrissy will go through just the program itself, courses, and kind of a general overview. Matthew Cloud and Edwina will talk a little bit about attendance and other resources. We have a lot of our instructors here tonight that will be doing their introductions, and faculty, please do turn your cameras on when you do that. Many of you have done it many times before. Then we have Christy is infamous for a very, very good, and this is not, I'm not saying this is the most important part of the evening, but if you can't access the things Christy will talk about in about an hour, everything's going to be difficult for you. So please pay attention to the Ivy Learn and My Ivy account access, Zoom access. That is besides our virtual learning labs and all that you'll learn about later, that's kind of the meat and potatoes of how you'll access your learning and your modules. Then we have our PIs from the program, principal investigators. They were a big part of the process in getting this grant in the first place. And they will be talking about the 3 different paths that you all have chosen. And then we have a special guest, Brian O'Hara, a cybersecurity professional, talking. We'll introduce him later, and then Amber will wrap us up. So with about 5 minutes to spare, and that's our agenda, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a moment. But next week, August 11th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So August 11th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You should have, and message me if you do not have it, because you're all new students. So I'm 98% sure you all have this invite, but in the case you do not, please send me a message on Zoom, or I'll put my email in here and you can send me an email. But next, not next, it is next week, goodness. Next Thursday, August 11th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have our 4th virtual career fair. And for all those new students out there that are joining tonight, this is a really great opportunity to meet people that are representing different organizations, both resource organizations, hiring and staffing agencies, and individual companies of varying sizes. Our setup this time will have 3 panel discussions, one about networking, one about the difference in cybersecurity based on what industry you're working in, both from manufacturing, banking, and some others. And then finally, to cap off the night, we have a panel about resource organizations. Some are veteran specific, and others are more of a cybersecurity staffing agency. And then meanwhile, and we have a lot going on that evening. Meanwhile, we'll have individual breakout sessions for each individual employer, who will have a representative there during a set time, and you can pop in there at any time during the panels, talk to them, and then talk about open positions, go from there and see if, who knows, maybe you can get a referral. That's one of the things that we really appreciate doing. September 14th, kind of putting it out there if you want to mark it on your calendars. We have our next workshop, and as CWCT students, we do bi-monthly workshops. We call them fireside chats that range from interview prep to resumes. And our next one is of someone from LinkedIn that works for the company that does a rock your profile section to help you get a really good LinkedIn profile. And you will hear us talk about it. We will hammer it to death that the vast majority of jobs nowadays are found through networking, and close to 90% of employers use LinkedIn as a primary means to hire people. So if you don't have one, I encourage you to get a LinkedIn, and then maybe tune into our Rock Your Profile in September and really rock your profile. Next week is our career fair, August 11th. A lot of this information has been sent out, but if you do not have the invite to the career fair, please reach out to me. So we've gone through the agenda. You've gotten to know me. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Chrissy, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. The last thing I really just wanted to say, and I really appreciate my team here, but I also want to thank many of our students for their service, both as first responders and military. And for the folks who are not one of those groups, welcome to this program. We believe strongly that there are not just a lot of jobs in cybersecurity out there, but that this is a niche field that has a lot of openings, close to 700,000. And we believe it also is a field closely related to service, whether it's financial crime in cybersecurity, or whether it's working for a contractor with the United States military or a defense contractor. There are a lot of avenues to continue on in your service. So we believe in this not only to help you to better yourself and your job, but also to help, with national security, and for you all to feel like you're doing something that matters. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Chrissy. Thank you all so much for being here, and welcome to the CWCT program.
Thanks, Steve. So I've got about 15 minutes to get through a program overview, and this is just going to be a reminder, what is this program about? Maybe answer some of the questions that you have. It's a lot of information that I do have to try to squeeze into 15 minutes. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it in the chat. Chances are I will probably answer it at some point in this 15 minutes, or at some point in my next section where I'm talking about my Ivy and Ivy Learn. But go ahead and put your question in the chat. Either myself or one of the program managers will be able to respond, or I can answer it at the end. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Hold on. Okay. All right, so again, this is going to be a program overview of the CWCT program. Remember that the CWCT program is a consortium of the four different universities. There's University of North Carolina, Charlotte, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Purdue University Northwest, and Ivy Tech Community College. You each have been assigned a program manager from one of those institutions. That's kind of your go-to person if you have questions. If we cannot answer them, then we typically know where to direct you as to who you need to go to. So let me go ahead and continue. So as a reminder, in this program, there are 3 training paths that are offered, and those are going to be discussed later on in this orientation. You have the artificial intelligence path, the digital forensics path, and the system administration path. They're all cybersecurity focused, but it's like a concentration area, if you want to think about it that way. When you were admitted, you only chose one track, one of those 3 tracks. Within each of those tracks, there are 6 non-credit college level courses per training path. The fact that they're college level courses, this is why you had to do a math assessment. This is why you had to do an English assessment. This is why you had to do an IT assessment. So to make sure that we knew you were able to do work at the college level, So the courses are offered through live virtual lectures. So there's a specific day and time that the classes meet virtually through Zoom. This is going to be 6 hours per week. It's going to be a Monday, Wednesday for 3 hours each, a Tuesday, Thursday for 3 hours each, a Saturday, Sunday, 3 hours each. So typically 2 days of 3 hours each for your 6 hours of just the lecture time. For those who cannot make it, because we know time zone, all the classes are listed in Central Time. We have students from all over, not only all over the US, but we also have students who are deployed overseas where there's huge time zone differences. We also know with our first responders, some of our law enforcement, they work really, really odd shift work sometime. So all of these virtual lectures are recorded if you cannot attend live, okay? So that you can then go in and watch the recorded lectures if you cannot attend the live lectures. There are no in-person offerings for these classes. These are set up in 8-week sessions. Participants will take 1 to 2 courses per session. There is a reason that will be talked about later as to why we typically only allow you to take 2 courses, and that is because of the time commitment that this program takes. So you will take 1 to 2 courses per session. Each session is 8 weeks long, and then there's typically a 2-week break in between each session, a little bit longer in December, between the end of October session and the start of January because of the holidays. But typically you get a 2-week break and then the next session starts. Each course may lead to an industry recognized certification. So typically they're going to be 5 certifications, 4, 5, 6 certifications that you get prepared for with these classes. The grant covers testing fees for up to 3 certifications only. And I'll talk here in a little bit about what do you do if you want some of those other certifications. So of your 6 classes, 4, 5, or all 6 of them are preparing you for a certain certification. Once you complete the program with all 6 courses, you do get a certificate of completion that you will get from the CWCT program, as well as there may be the opportunity for you to transfer some of these non-credit courses into 4 credit courses at the 4 participating institutions. So UTC, UNCC, PNW, or Ivy Tech. If you are going to transfer to another institution outside of this consortium of 4, you would really need to talk to those institutions as to whether or not they will accept non-credit classes. Typically, at some universities, they're going to accept if you have gotten the certification, they'll do a crosswalk for the certification itself. But again, you would want to talk to whatever institution you might be transferring to, especially if it's outside of the 4 consortium institutions. So as I mentioned earlier, you are admitted under 1 track and 1 track only. That's either going to be system admin, AI, or digital forensics. You must complete all 6 courses within your track. You can't just pick and choose which courses you take, when you take them. When you get your registration email, and if you have not responded to your registration emails yet, please do so. Those were sent the 21st and the 22nd from Amber from PNW. If they're not in your inbox, they're going to be in your spam folder more than likely. But it's not, certain classes have certain prerequisites. In those registration emails, there's an example study plan where you can see in which order you have to take these classes. And you can't just pick and choose, I want this class from the AI track, I want this class from digital forensics. Whatever track you chose, you have 6 specific classes you have to take. There could be waivers for some of these classes if you already have the associated certification and it is still active as of the first day of the session in which you would be scheduled to take that class. So if you already have CompTIA A+, you're not going to as long as your certification is active, you're not going to have to take the CWCT 100 A+ class. So if you have waivers, if you have certifications that you have not provided us yet, you need to let us know so we can provide you with the link to upload those. But again, it's not picking and choosing. There's 6 specific classes. Your registration emails will tell you exactly which classes you're eligible for at that time. Now, please listen very, very, very carefully here, because I can guarantee you, even though I'm going to say this now, it will be asked in the chat about 5 or 6 more times. So please listen carefully. We always get the question, can I take additional classes on top of the 6 that are outside my track of study? The answer is maybe. We cannot give you a definite answer. Participants might be able to take courses outside of their track if there is room available in that class after those who need it first are first registered. So CHFI, the digital forensics folks get that class first. If there happens to be room in it still to reach our capacity, then you might be able to take it as an additional course as long as you meet the prerequisites. So those who need the class first are going to get first dibs. If there is still room, you might be able to take additional courses, and as long as you meet the prerequisites. If there is ever a session that you are eligible to take a second course outside of your chosen track, that will be included in your registration email. It will essentially say, if you're interested in taking a second course outside of your track, here's what you need to do. So you don't need to be letting us know that information right now. That information will come to you with registration emails as you go along. Okay, so you might be able to take additional courses if there is room in the class. We will typically not know if there is room available in the class until the week before classes start. So it's going to be a very late notice, but we essentially have you fill out a form that tells us you're interested. We see you're interested. We see you've met the prereqs. We'll give you, there's room. We'll give you the registration information. So that's really important, because it always gets asked, and it always gets asked multiple times, even though I have discussed it. So what you need to do as a participant, even though you do not necessarily need to attend the live lectures, because again, we know not everybody can, your participation is still required for this program. And participation is demonstrated by you completing work, quizzes, labs, homework each week for your assigned classes. This is not a self-paced, go at your own pace, do everything at the end, okay? We are expecting you to submit your assignments by their due dates each week. If you are not doing your assignments each week, there could be the potential of you being removed from your course if you have not completed that work. So you need to make sure you're completing your work each week by the due dates. And then you also need to make sure you're either attending the live Zoom lecture or that you're watching the recordings if you cannot attend the live lectures. If you cannot attend the live lectures, it is nice if you just let your instructors know, hey, I can't attend the live lectures due to this reason. That way they just have an idea. Instructors will still take attendance in those live lectures, but it does not factor into your grade. That is really more for our record keeping, to see, who's successfully completing. Are they attending live? Are they watching the live virtual lectures? So yes, they will take attendance, but it does not factor into your grade at all. Here's where I was talking about the time commitment. Please be mindful of the time commitment that this program takes. I already mentioned the 6 hours of lecture time, and that's just lecture time. You should then expect 2 to 3 hours of labs, homework, tests for each hour you are in these lectures. So you could have a potential of up to 12 more hours per week on top of the 6 for lecture for your homework for just one course. So you're looking at 18 18 hours for just one course. So if you are doing 2 courses, you're looking at almost 36 hours of time commitment to this program. That's like another full-time job. So you want to make sure you are not overcommitting yourself to take more classes than you can manage with your work, life, family, military, those kinds of things. If you have registered for 2 classes and you're now reconsidering it based on this information, even though we did share this information multiple times in emails, just email me, cduncan63@ivytech.edu, and I can process the change to drop you down to just the one class. But again, be very, very mindful of the time commitment that this program takes. Just an example trainings, or this is the training schedule. Please note that the last session for this program is regular session 10, which is that June 5th through July 30th of 2023. So we do only have 5 sessions remaining of this program. Therefore, if you are starting in August and you have all 6 classes to take, that means you could take 1 class in August, October, January, and March, and then you'd have to take 2 classes in June, or some iteration of that. There will be at least 1 session that you will have to take 2 classes if you choose to start with just 1 class. If you already have some of the certifications, then you're in even a little bit better shape where you could potentially just take 1 class each session to complete the program. So that is something to keep in mind. Those starting in August do not have as much wiggle room with retaking classes, deferring, taking sessions off. Those, you don't have as much wiggle room as those who have started earlier in the program. So that is just, again, something to keep in mind as you're going through. Okay, so what does this program cover cost-wise? You all saw it advertised as a free program, so we want to tell you what is the grant that's covering this program. What does it cover? So your online English, math, and IT assessment that you took, it covered all of those assessments, including if you had to do any of the study paths, the training modules, if you utilized any of the tutoring. All of that was covered at no cost to you. As I mentioned before, we cover up to 3 certifications. However, as I mentioned before, 4, 5, or 6 of your classes do prepare you for a certification. So what do you do with those other certifications above the 3 that you choose to take? First of all, you do get to choose which 3 certifications you want vouchers for. Essentially, you'll pass a class. We verify that you've passed the class. You'll be sent the email about the voucher information. If you choose that you want to use a voucher for that particular certification, you're just going to follow the directions in it. If you choose not to use one of your vouchers for that certification, you don't have to do anything. What some people will do is they will, most of the time, they will save their 3 vouchers for the 3 most expensive certifications is what it tends to boil down to. That information, we have an example price list when we do send you voucher information so that you can see which 3 might be the most expensive. And if they decide, you know what, I'm not going to use one of my vouchers, they will either just not take, I'm just going to use A+ as an example. So you know what, you decide, I'm not going to use one of the vouchers for A+. You can either just not take the certification. In order to move on in this program, you only need to pass the classes. You don't need to pass the certification to move on in the program itself and complete the program. So you can either choose not to take the certification, or you can choose to pay for the certification out of pocket if you want to save your 3 vouchers for 3 other certifications. Many times there will be student discounts that you can get because you now have an ivytech.edu account. So because you have a student account, you might be able to get a student discount. I think for like A+, it's $100 that you have to pay for per part, I think is the last time I looked at it. So so using that student discount, you actually pay less than if you were using, you know, one of the vouchers. So that is something to keep in mind. You'll have to kind of decide which 3 you want to use your vouchers for. So again, you could either just not take the additional 1, 2, or 3 certifications, or you can pay for those above the 3 out of pocket. What else does this cover? Oh, and it only covers the testing fees for those certifications. If there are any additional proctoring fees that are charged by the testing site themselves, those are not covered by us. So it's just the testing fees. You have to pass the classes to get the voucher. So the program also covers the live virtual faculty instruction. So you're actually being instructed by faculty, and with, again, those recorded lectures for later viewing. There are also cybersecurity support analysts that are free with this program. They can do some tutoring for some of the classes that you might be having problems with. They can provide technical support for some of the programs that you might be using, like NetLab, those kinds of things. They also can help with virtual machine development and maintenance with some of these virtual machines that you're going to be using in some of these classes. It also covers, the cost covers online books and materials that you'll be using. There are no, for any of these, there are no physical books. They might not have a physical book, or if you're one that needs a physical book and there is one available, you would have to cover the cost of that. But most of these classes are going to use online resources, and it's not even a book. It's just resources that are gathered using different programs, those kinds of things. So that's what this covers. If one of the other questions, if you do end up being able to take additional classes on top of your track, the coursework itself would still be covered. But again, we only pay for the 3 certifications. So if you're interested in the certification with those additional classes and you've already used your 3 vouchers, you would be responsible for those. And then I think this is my last slide. So I know I've run over my 15 minutes a little bit. We do have self-preparation. However, I know some of you have already emailed me. The self-preparation materials that are on our website did end on July 28th. We do have an email into the person who, our colleague that has created these, to try to get an update as to when new ones will be developed. So if you try to go into the self-prep courses right now, you're probably going to get a message that it's closed. Hopefully new ones will be developed very, very quickly, I'm hoping, so that you can do some of the self-prep material that was provided. The link was provided to you in your several emails that have been sent to you. So that is, let me stop sharing my screen here. That is all I have. I don't know if you guys have been keeping an eye on the questions.
Yep.
Okay.
And Matthew's been answering them.
Okay.
So I think we're good.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
I'll be
Thanks,
back
Chrissy.
later for my Ivy discussion.
Awesome. And then we're going to go ahead and turn it over to one of our PIs. Matthew Cloud is going to talk a little bit about our non-attendance date and some resources and stuff like that. So Matthew, are you ready?
Sure, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I'll first kind of hit a couple of these questions that have come up during Chrissy's talk there. There's one I wanted to reiterate, Amber, that you put out there a link on in case other people missed it. If you already have a certification for one of the courses, please follow the link. It's at 521 is what it shows on my clock here, for when that link was sent by Amber, or maybe Amber, you could send that back through again. So you can submit any certifications that you already have, so you can bypass those courses, right? We're not going to make you retake a course you're already currently certified to do. It can get, sometimes people ask us for other certifications not related to the program if they can count. Generally, we say no. There are some rare exceptions to that, and we're always happy to discuss it. But we're looking specifically at those courses. The courses are not to tell you how to pass a certification. That's not what we're doing. They are related. We're preparing you to be able to go out in the workforce with the labs so that the coursework that you're doing is 1 hour out of the 3 hours is lecture, and the other 2 hours is lab time. It doesn't mean you're being lectured to for an hour, but that's about the ratio of lecture to lab time throughout the courses, so that you can focus on doing the practical materials. If you spend that time in class working on the labs with the instructor, you'll get a lot of your work done in class. You may not have to spend as much time outside of it. If you're new to this area, you're going to need to spend a lot of extra time, though. That's why we have that IT assessment there. The IT assessment wasn't something, all of you've already passed it, which is great, but it wasn't set there to try to block people out, but to help you become aware of what's going to be expected in the program and to make sure you're ready. If you have any questions anywhere along the way, we have a great support team to help you, including the staff that's here. We've got fantastic staff and faculty. We've got CWCT-support at ivtech.edu, which is supported by Edwina Aponte. I don't know, Edwina, if you're in here in this group or not. Here tonight.
I didn't see her, no.
No. So Edwina is our virtual lab manager. She works on this program full-time, in charge of our virtual labs, making sure you're able to access your materials you need for your classes. And she has 2 cybersecurity support analysts right now for her, Eileen and Lawrence. And I don't see those in here either tonight, but they're recently hired. They're students who have recently graduated or are about to graduate with an associate's degree in cybersecurity, have done most or all of the coursework that's in here and very familiar with it, but I've also worked in the data center at the Valparaiso location and quite familiar with the work. I also have another student who is blind since birth, who reviews the content to make sure that she can access it. Now, she doesn't go through and necessarily do all this work. Her role is she wants to be an IT support analyst for Apple. That's her dream, right, of what she wants to do. And so through this, we're helping her. She's helping us. She's a fantastic student that's helping us along that way. So we have a number of people on the Ivy Tech side. My role through this program as a principal investigator, is associate director for the grant to help support faculty, to get professional development for faculty, and the support staff that help you as students in your labs. There are additional technical staff that you may have already encountered through Ivy Tech for email. That's a general Ivy Tech helpline number. This staff here, the CWCT-support at ivtech.edu, is dedicated just for you as participants in this program. Okay, they can't help you with your email problems, but they can help you with your labs, right? And so they're here to help you with that. Certification discounts. The discount program, because you're a student, that all changes. So we don't maintain a document per se to give out to you all because certifications change. We've been able to work with most vendors over the past decade to help that align more to an academic year, but they don't all align that way. So as you have questions, just talk with your program manager. We're happy to help you walk through that process. And actually, I assumed that most people were going for the highest paid vouchers. That's actually not the case. Very few have actually gone for those EC Council are the most expensive ones. Most of them have been CompTIA based certifications. Another question I often get is on Linux. You could do Linux Plus for CompTIA if you wish. It's more question answer based, but our courses are based around Red Hat and Red Hat Linux, which is lab based. And it's a practical. There's a lab practical for that exam. It's written by Red Hat. We're using the exact same materials, and they are hiring hundreds of people as well as their channel partners. I'm not saying you couldn't get something with Linux Plus, but I do have a direct pathway for students that want to do the Red Hat system admin with Linux. If you get involved with anything with hacking and or get deeper into cybersecurity, well, you realize that you really have to know Linux. And so let's see, I think I've answered the other random questions that were out there. So the other thing I want to mention is that we're here to support you. So the next statement that I have is not to hopefully scare you, but to show that we're actually watching to help support and see where you might be struggling. We will be looking, we ask the faculty to send back if you've not submitted anything in the first week, and the program managers will reach out to you to make sure, hey, did we have a crossing of wires somewhere? How can we help make sure you have access to the materials? We will also check every 2 weeks. So you're required in this program to submit your work at least every 2 weeks. And if you do not, we may proactively drop you from the program. We may just drop you from the course. Either one of those could be an option, right? But we're not trying to kick people out. That's not our goal. We want to get all of you through this. We have 79%. Some of the numbers I can share is that we have 79% are at this point being retained. Of those, it's well over 90% that pass the courses. So if you do the work, you communicate with us, that's great. You can drop a course like Chrissy said earlier. You could even say, hey, I need to wait another term, but realize that this program is currently scheduled to end as of September 1st of next year. We are looking at other ways to bring in other funding mechanisms, but there's no guarantee for that. So we want to be straightforward with you. The great thing about that coming in at this point, that means if you take a course each semester, each term, only in one term will you need to take 2 courses. I might suggest Security Plus and Cyber Ops for that. I don't know that there's any easy choices, but those are probably the 2 most closely aligned that might be easier to contemplate taking at the same time. Any other questions y'all have for me?
Oh, I think we're good, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. The only thing I want to add onto that is faculty, after you say your hellos, I've created a breakout room. If you'll please join that like we do at these orientations. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we're going to move into introducing the faculty now, and they're going to talk a little bit about what their courses are going to be like and what their course expectations are. So I'm going to actually start with our A+ instructors, and let's start with our Saturday, Sunday instructor, Dima. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your course?
Hi, I'm Dima Yassin. I am the A+ instructor for the Saturday, Sunday class. Welcome everyone. And I look forward to meeting all of you. As far as the expectations, I mean, if you read the material, you show up to class. If you are planning on showing up to class, I record my classes, and I think all the instructors here will be recording the classes as well. So, you know, if you can't join the class, you'll be able to go and find the recording and watch it whenever you want. Again, you do the labs. We have lots of labs, easy to use, easy to figure out. Again, with the recording, I'll be showing how to use the labs and what the expectations every week. You do the labs, you do the exams and the quizzes every week, and you'll be just fine. Most of the material, if you ever use the computer, the A+ isn't a very complex class to follow or to study for. You know, if you use the computer, you know what hardwares are, what the software are, how to use Windows and all. So it's not, you know, a very difficult class. I'm hoping you all will enjoy it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dima. And then we have 2 instructors teaching Monday and Wednesday nights this session. Enrique, would you like to introduce yourself and talk about your course?
Yeah, hello, how you doing, everyone? Yes, I'm teaching Monday and Wednesdays, I believe. I used to teach the weekend, which I love, but it's fine. Monday and Wednesday are fine now. And like Dima said, we are actually just expecting a participation of everyone. You know, make sure that you participate every week. If you are, I understand there's things going on around you. If there's anything that can support you, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm here to help you out. You know, I'm not here to just block it into your path. And I want you guys to believe, see that I'm a human being behind all this, right? So make sure that you just reach out. I also have family and things going on. So just reach out if you fall behind. Just make sure to participate every week, and everything should be fine. Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks, Enrique.
Thank you.
Our other Monday and Wednesday evening instructor is Constance. Constance, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, I'm Constance Chasteen, and I will be teaching hardware, software support. And we focus a lot on the requirements for the A+ exam. There was a question in the chat about a course outline. We do everything in these courses for the CWCT 100 in NetAcad, and so you'll receive an email from me if you're in my class where you can join that NetAcad course. All of your grades will be there, as well as everything that you will need to turn in for the week. So it is very well laid out and you should not have any trouble. And you can always reach out, as Enrique was saying, we are just people. So you can always reach out and ask your questions, and we are ready and willing to help you in any way, shape, or form with the coursework.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Constance. And then we have two Tuesday, Thursday night instructors. Valerie isn't able to join us tonight, but Alma is here. Alma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Alma Scott, and I will be teaching the A plus. As Dima's mentioned, the A plus, the material isn't all that difficult. It is just the amount of material that you cover. You know, we're looking at hardware, software. We're looking at virtualization, cloud computing. At a high level, we look at security and networking. So we have 14 chapters that we cover in the NetAcad class. We also have Net Labs. And in my class, I like to get students in breakout rooms so you get to work with each other, whether it's an assignment that you're looking at or just looking at a topic in more depth. We also look at YouTube videos. We have Test Out Lab Sim, which has some very interesting videos. It is also covers A+, so it's a good complement to our NetAcad class. But all the instructors, we're here to support students. If you have an issue, just reach out to us and we'll be there for you. And we continually I check in with my students on a regular basis. Just let us know how things are going. And I think we'll have a really, really good class. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, A+ instructors. And then another entry-level course that you will be taking this session is your Linux course for most of you. And we're going to go ahead and start with our Saturday, Sunday Linux instructor. Bill, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Bill Warden, and as was mentioned, I've been teaching Linux on Saturday and Sunday since I guess this will probably be my 5th session coming up here soon in fall. And we really just have a pretty set path going forward with how we're doing things, how we've gotten things down pretty well to a science, if you will. You come in, you do the labs according to the way Red Hat has set them up. I go through all the labs with everybody. If they have any questions along the way, I try to keep it more than just reading the book or the equivalent thereof going through the labs. So I'm constantly interjecting additional information whenever I can. But for the most part, you are effectively prepping for certification to a large degree. What I try to focus on with how I go beyond that material is focusing on Linux as a foundational skill. To me, this is the lingua franca of systems administration, if you will. Just meaning that effectively, if you understand Linux, you understand at least one half of the back-end systems that are used worldwide, if not more. So other than that, I'm just continuing my tradition now, coming up on my 20th year of teaching full-time and enjoying doing it with an operating system I've loved since 1995. And having that opportunity to address a broader community than I otherwise have the opportunity to in my community college day job with Ivy Tech, and giving back, if you will, to those who give so much to us as first responders, and having that opportunity to work with that different kind of student population is very rewarding to me. And I really enjoy having given up my weekends, if you will, for just about a year now. It's been worth it. So I look forward to seeing you in class.
Thanks so much, Bill. Thanks for giving up those weekends for us. And then we have two Monday, Wednesday evening instructors. The other Bill wasn't able to join us tonight, but we have Jeremy, who is one of our newer instructors. Jeremy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'll be teaching the Linux System Administration course on Monday. Bill has done a great job of kind of covering everything that will be in that course. I've been a user of Linux operating systems for probably 15 years. In fact, most of my computers don't even use Windows unless I'm forced to. So I'd like to think that I have a pretty good foundation of knowledge that I can pass on and aid you as you work through the course material. One of the things with Linux is it's hard to learn just by reading. So the lab work that you'll do in these courses will be very important to gain that foundational understanding. But yeah, I mean, Bill did a very good job of covering it. So
Perfect. Thanks
that's
so
pretty
much,
much about all I
Jeremy.
had to say.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you join us this session.
I'm excited to be here.
And then our Tuesday and Thursday night instructor is Herman. Herman, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Doing great
I'm trying to get
tonight.
everything going. There we go. Trying to get everything going there. How's everybody doing? Hopefully good. Wow. I don't know what else I can say. Except when it comes to the Linux stuff, like was previously mentioned, reading isn't going to get it done. You got to practice, practice, practice. So that's what we try to do is practice, practice, practice. And I'll leave it go at that.
Thanks so much, Herman. Yep, be ready to practice in your Linux course for sure. Those of you who are AI track participants, you won't be taking Linux. Instead, you're going to have Python this session, and Chris is going to be your instructor. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, greetings. Sorry, my camera is not connecting. I'm on a laptop today. I am your Python instructor. Basically, I come out of a background. I was in the Navy, 28 years, 30 years in industry before then switching to teaching. I'm presently the department chair here at Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The approach to the Python course, my approach to teaching is I'm very much a hands-on demonstration teacher. I teach by a combination of show a little, demonstrate a little. Our classes are split between Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday tends to be the demonstration, the lecture, the illustrations, the examples. Thursday is done as an interactive lab. We do different types of labs where you will be typically broken up into groups and working in what, if you guys have ever heard of something called pair programming, we try and pair up students with each other and work on programming assignments in small groups or pairs with the instructor bouncing around between them. As you've heard with Linux and many of the other aspects of what's taught in this program, you learn by doing. You don't learn by reading, you learn by doing. So the lab portion is an important component of this course. And that's my 2 cents. And I'll turn it back to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chris. Another course that everybody's going to be taking in their track is Cyber Ops, and we have 2 of our instructors here tonight. Ben, would you like to introduce yourself? You're our Monday and Wednesday night instructor this session.
Yes, welcome everybody. I'm an instructor also at Ivy Tech, and I've been teaching close to 20 some years. So I'm looking forward to working with you all in my class. Cyber Ops class is a really interesting, fun class. You get to learn about, all the techniques that are out there for threat actors and how to, what tools are out there for us to use to combat those techniques. So it'll be a really interesting class. However, I do want to emphasize even more so than what Chrissy did, the importance of actually getting this work done. It's going to take a lot of work. It's not difficult. It's fun, but you really have to put your mind to dedicating as much of your time as you possibly can. You just have to, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to spend a lot of time in this material. But other than that, I believe you're going to really, really enjoy the class. So you're looking forward to working with everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben. Yep, definitely have to work hard in Cyber Ops, that's for sure. And then one of our Tuesday and Thursday night instructors, Alf, is here. Alf, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alf Sanford. I teach for Ivy Tech at the South Bend Elkhart campus for about 8-9 years now. And I got into IT around Y2K, but about half of that time has been in education. So I've got a master's in teaching and learning and a bunch of certs. So I'm a big advocate of certs. This is my second course. I did teach the Security Plus course this summer, and I'll co-sign what Matthew Cloud shared. if you need to double up, if you're in that boat, the cyber ops appears to have a really great overlap, crossover to the Security Plus. So that would be a really smart thing to do. Like all of my colleagues here who are just top notch, I want 100% pass rate for my students here, just like I do in all my classes for Ivy Tech. We do have an ebook. Unlike the Security Plus class, this is going to be structured right inside the Cisco LMS, where I teach most of the NETI courses for South Bend Elkhart. And it's really good content from what I can see, so I will encourage you to read. The Security Plus, the Security Plus exam, just the security domain is just so expansive. I'm a networking guy. I've got my Cisco CCNA, and I tell my students the comparison there's a lot of overlap between the two, but from the exam standpoint, the CCNA seems to be so much deeper and narrower, but Security Plus just is so expansive. So that speaks to, I think, Ben's point, his caution to, or his suggestion to just be prepared for a lot of voluminous effort to cover so much of this stuff. So as with all my colleagues, we'll do some lecture and try to get some hands-on in the course. So there's not as much homework for you guys outside with the labs. And we're gonna have some newbies too. So we definitely wanna reduce that fear factor and do as much as we can in the class is how I like to do. I think that's a great way to learn. And then any content that you encounter outside of class that we don't cover in the lecture, you can certainly bring those questions with you. And we'll make it a fluid experience. Thank you for your service, all our first responders and military, and look forward to working with you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Al.
Sure.
We have one of our, for those of you in the system admin track, one of the courses that you'll be taking in your track is cloud. And we have our cloud instructor, Paul, here. Paul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Welcome everyone, and just like everyone else has said, thank you for your service. It's great to be working with the cloud administration class. It's going to build on your Linux skills, so pay attention to those classes because you get to kind of build on those. There'll be a Red Hat Academy class, and so I'll be using Red Hat curriculum and their labs, really well written labs that you get to use the command line and the graphical user interface to be able to do cloud administration. So it's a very doable class, but it does take time. Some of the labs can be pretty lengthy. A lot of new concepts. OpenStack is probably something new to many people, and be able to use cloud virtualization. So looking forward to meeting many of you.
Thanks so much, Paul. And then also in that track tonight, we have our certified ethical hacking instructor, Anthony, is here. So Anthony, would you like to talk about the CEH course?
Betcha. Certified ethical hacking. It comprehensive of almost everything you've heard already. But we will be talking about, we actually mentioned about 200 different programs as we go through that material. And but we'll be doing like we have before. We'll also be doing the labs during the class time period and walking you through those. So we're just going to have some fun.
Awesome. Looking
You got to
forward.
have fun, by the way, as you're going through this. If you're not having fun, go find something else. Oh, should I be saying that here?
We're all in it for the fun. We wouldn't have teachers like who teach on our Saturdays and Sundays, Dima and Bill, right? If they weren't in it for the fun. Thanks so much, Anthony. So those are all of our instructors who were able to join us tonight. So some of you didn't get a chance to meet some of your more advanced course instructors. They just weren't able to join us, but you were able to meet your A+, your Linux, and your Python teachers tonight. So hopefully you're really excited to jump into those courses on the week of the 15th. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over a little early to Chrissy. Chrissy's going to go over the Ivy Learn and your My Ivy account login. So really pay attention to this section.
Yes. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me share my screen. All right, and then let me. All right. So tonight I'm going to be discussing two big pieces of technology that you'll be using as a participant in this program. You've actually already used both of these pieces when you went through your application process. You use them to access your assessments, but I'm going to discuss more closely how they'll relate to your participation in your courses. And while this program is made up of the consortium of the 4 universities, as I mentioned in my first piece, it is the Ivy Tech system that is being used for the actual coursework itself. These classes are going to show up on your Ivy Tech transcript. You're going to go through Ivy Learn, those kinds of things. So tonight we will be looking at My Ivy, which is your student portal. And then we're going to be looking at Ivy Learn, which is how you will actually access your courses for your virtual lectures, some of your coursework, your syllabus, things like that, the things that you want to know for class. So there are several different ways to get to both My Ivy and Ivy Learn. And just as a reminder, this is being recorded and it will be sent out later this week. So this is a really good piece to go back to when classes are getting ready to get started back up. So the first way to get to My Ivy is you can get to it through the main Ivy Tech webs page, which is just ivytech.edu. You will see up here in the upper right, make this bigger for y'all. In the upper right, there is a link for My Ivy as well as a link for Ivy Learn. So in both cases, you can get to either of these from the main Ivy Tech website. It's best if you just bookmark them both so that you can get to them easily. The other way to get to My Ivy is by going directly to the website, which is myivy.ivytech.edu. And then that will take you directly to the login page. If you are ever locked out of your account, so we get this sometimes, especially for those of you who may be stationed overseas and are going to be using a VPN. For some reason, Ivy Tech sees that you're using a VPN and they think it's some kind of not you. So those stationed overseas, sometimes you get locked out of your account. If anybody is ever locked out of your account, you can call our IT help desk at 1-888-IVY line, LINE. Amber, I don't know if you can stick that in the chat for them. 1-888-IVY line. They do have very extended hours. So those of you who are stationed in other time zones and overseas, you should still be able to get a hold of them, even with the time zone differences. So that is something that I have noticed over the past sessions. So you can either get locked out because you've tried too many times to log in incorrectly, or they think it's not you logging in because of you may be using a VPN or something. So just a nice little tip there for you that I haven't included in other ones because it hadn't really been brought up much. So so you're going to log in. They're going to ask you for your username and password. Mine is saved, so it's not going to. Make sure when you are logging in, you are using your Ivy Tech email address for the username email portion and not your personal email address. So again, you probably just want to bookmark this and so that you can just go directly to it. We do not keep, Ivy Tech or CWCT does not keep records of your password. So if you have forgotten your password, there is a reset or forget password link that was on that, that page. So your My Ivy portal will look slightly different than mine as far as which links are being displayed here in the quick links, because I'm a staff member. Primarily, I'm also a student, but primarily a staff member. So mine's going to have a staff view. But the concepts I'm about to discuss with you are the same. So there are essentially two big pieces you will want to become familiar with in My Ivy for this program. You will find that there you're going to come across some links that are just not going to work because these are non-credit classes. So for example, if you find the link that says student schedule and you go to your student schedule, it will not show these classes because they are non-credit classes. Okay, so some links are just not going to work for you guys because these are non-credit classes. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. But the two pieces that you're really going to want to access through here are Ivy Learn and your student email. As a participant and as a student, both of these should be listed in the quick links section here in the main part. You will see, even as a staff member, Ivy Learn is right here. You will also hear it called Canvas. That's the actual company it's through. But you should also have a link in here that says student email. That is your Ivy Tech student email, okay? If you are not seeing either of these in your quick links, if you click on See All, you'll get a list of all the resources and tools that our students get, okay? And you can either just do a search for Ivy Learn or student email, or these are listed in alphabetical order. So here's Ivy Learn. You'll see there are little hearts next to it that if it's not in your quick links, you can favorite it and then it will show up on your favorites portion. So there's Ivy Learn, and then you should have student email, okay? And then if you favorite them, they should show up here under your My Favorites. But again, they should be listed here in the quick links section, okay? Due to student privacy regulations called FERPA, your Ivy Tech email should be the email you're using to communicate for this program, okay? This is how we will typically send emails, and this is how you should send us emails. Now, we have found recently that if there are emails coming from Amber from PNW, Steve Olson from UNCC, or Steve Ryder from UTC, because they do not have ivytech.edu email addresses they're emailing from, those emails tend to be going to spam, is what we're finding. So I highly recommend that you are not only checking your inbox of your Ivy Tech student email, but that you're also checking the spam folder on a pretty regular basis. Hopefully we can get that resolved, but that is a nice little tip that we have found. If it's something really important like registration, the email we send at the beginning of the session, we will still typically send it to your Ivy Tech email. And then we may send you a courtesy email to your personal email, just saying, hey, we've sent this to your Ivy Tech email. If you're not seeing it in your inbox, please check your spam. Another way around that might be to add if your program manager is either Amber, Steve O, or Steve R, or Amber, you might be able to add them to the list that they're not spam. So that is another thing. But check those spam occasionally, because we are finding some emails are going there. Okay. So the Ivy Tech student email is run through Gmail. If you've logged on, you have noticed that. So sometimes what does happen is if you have a personal Gmail account where you have your password saved on your computer, when you click on that student email link, it may take you to your personal email account. And then people are saying, I'm not getting any emails. Well, it's because you're checking your personal and not your Ivy Tech account. So what you have to do then is you can either, number one, log out of your personal account and then log back in using your Ivy Tech information, or what I highly recommend is you can just add an account in Gmail so that you can easily switch back and forth between the two email accounts. It'll show your personal email as well as the Ivy Tech email account, and you can click on one or the other to switch back and forth. You can easily Google how to add an account in Gmail if you don't know how to do that already, because it's going to depend on what browser you're using, things like that. So you could just Google how to add an account in Gmail and you should be able to follow those steps. Okay. And that again will let you go back and forth between the two accounts, so that if you click on student email and it takes you to your personal, you can then just click on the Ivy Tech email and it will switch over. Okay. And that way it can either do that on a web browser or in the Gmail app as well. Okay. Now, so be checking your Ivy Tech email on a regular basis is our first big key. Okay. Because that's how a lot of important information may be sent to you. Now, the really big piece I know you've all been waiting for is how exactly do you complete your virtual classes? Again, these will be through Ivy Learn or Canvas. And again, you can either get to it from the main Ivy Tech website by clicking Ivy Learn. You can get to it through My Ivy by clicking on the Ivy Learn button, or you can go to it directly by its link, which I just believe is Ivy Learn. Yep, ivylearn.ivytech.edu. See if that works. Okay, so there's 3 different ways to get to Ivy Learn. Get to it however you would want. Again, bookmark it is probably the easiest thing. So you will notice when you go into Ivy Learn, since I just talked about email, you will notice an inbox. Let me make this a little bigger for those of you who may be on smaller screens. You will see this inbox on the left-hand side. This is not the same thing as your student email, okay? It is a way, it's connected directly to your classes. So like if you go in here, you can choose, hey, I want to email my instructor for this particular class, or I want to email a fellow student from this particular class. You can go in, choose a class, write the email. Instructors may communicate to you in this way. So it is a separate piece from the Ivy Tech email, okay? So don't confuse this inbox with your Ivy Tech email. There is a way to set it up in your account system here, that the emails that come into your inbox here in Ivy Learn can also go to your Ivy Tech email so that you are seeing it. And that's just going to be under your settings. But in here, you can really only communicate with those associated with your classes, your instructors, the fellow classmates. Like you can't email me from here because I'm not associated with the class. You can't email Amber from here because it's not associated with the class. So just keep that in mind, what the difference is between the Ivy Tech email and this inbox. So, and your instructor should put in your class syllabus their preferred method of contact. It may be utilizing this inbox, it may be emailing them, you know, but they should put in there how to contact them in your syllabus. So your courses will either be listed in your dashboard. So right now I am on my dashboard, or on the left-hand side, there is a courses button here on the left-hand side if it's not listed in your dashboard, okay? Please note, this is really important because I can guarantee you we're going to get emails the week before class saying you're not seeing your class and you don't think you're registered, okay? So this is important. The classes will not appear in Ivy Learn until the Friday before the session begins. So you more than likely will not even see the class listed on your dashboard or in courses until Friday, August 12th, okay? Even then, if you see them or they become live, if you're still not seeing it, it is probably because the instructor has not published it yet, okay? There's 2 pieces. It goes live on Ivy Learn, and then the instructor actually has to publish it once they have it ready. If the instructor hasn't published it yet, you're not going to see it. You can kind of see what's been published and what hasn't. If you go to courses, and if you go down here to all courses, you will see here, you'll see your list is not going to be nearly as long as mine because I have organizations as well, but you will see if it's published or not. So if a course is not published yet, it will be listed as of Friday, August 12th, it will be listed here, but it may say that it's unpublished. Please give that instructor until the first day of class to publish it. you know, before you start emailing us. But if you see it here and it says not published, just be patient as that instructor gets those published, okay? So if you try to go in there now and look for your classes, you're not going to see them, okay? August 12th is when the classes should go live on Ivy Learn. And then again, it's really instructor by instructor whether they get published or not, okay? So I'm going to use one of my past courses and as an example of what you might see. So I'm going to use my Linux class because that was one class I took virtually, okay? Okay. So again, you could get to it through courses or your dashboard. So you will see once you're in the course, it will be listed up here at the top, and you'll see a menu here on the left. You'll need to make sure you're reading your course announcements as they come through, which is this announcements tab. You'll want to carefully read the syllabus, which is going to be under the syllabus tab. And again, even if your instructor publishes the class, there may be some things that are still missing, like maybe they didn't update the syllabus and that kind of thing. So just be patient until that first day of class for your instructor to get everything ready. The modules tab is where you will be able to access the different modules and what you should be doing for your classes now. So you'll see here, like here's week 1. Yours is going to look slightly different because again, yours is non-credit, mine was 4 credit, but you get the basic idea. It'll have the week, the module. Now, some of these classes, you're going to be doing the work in outside programs, and we've already mentioned some of those. NetAcad, NetLab, Red Hat Academy, I know is one. NetAcad is run through Cisco. You will be given instructions somewhere in this course, whether it be the syllabus, an announcement, in the lecture, you will be given instructions on how to access those things. So then that is probably where your grades will be kept for those things. So this grades link is probably not going to be completely up to date because it may not include some of those things from those other programs, okay? If you get an email, I know Red Hat is always a big one. You'll get an email before the class even begins. Hey, you have a Red Hat account to set up, and students try to go in and set those up and it's not working. It's not working. Please wait until the first day of class to actually get the instructions from the instructor on what you need to do. They will tell you what you need to do to access those outside course materials. Okay. So then the big piece you need to know for your virtual classes is how to access not only the live lectures via Zoom, but also the recorded lectures. We make it really easy for you. You go into Ivy Learn and you click on Zoom. That's it, okay? And then you should have 3 tabs at the top. There's an upcoming meetings tab, there's a previous meetings tab, and there's a cloud recordings tab, okay? Your current and future course sessions will be under the upcoming meeting. So you have a Monday, Wednesday class, it's Monday morning. That Monday night class should be listed in there in upcoming meetings. There should be mine's not showing because this is a past class, obviously, but there will be a meeting ID. You should just need to click on it and it'll take you to the Zoom recording, okay? Same thing with now, you can get the recordings in one of 2 places. It will either be here under previous meetings where you can go in and there will be a link for the recording, or it will be under the cloud recording. So you can see here, all of these are still in the cloud for me. So again, you can find the recordings either under previous meetings or cloud recordings. Either of those 2 places should work, okay? So all you need to do is go to the Zoom link and then either go to upcoming meetings, previous meetings, or cloud recordings, depending on what you're wanting to do, either accessing the live lecture or the recording, okay? So that's all you do for your Zoom. The instructors should send out an email the day before class, a few days before, with just a general introduction, and it will also have that, they should also include the Zoom link for your first class as well. So if you're not seeing the Zoom link here for that first class. It was either emailed to you, it could be in your syllabus, it could be under the announcement. So just look in some of those different places for that, but it should be there, okay? And so if you're not seeing that Zoom link, you're not seeing it in an email, you're not seeing it in the syllabus, go ahead and email your instructor. I will let you know your classes all start at 6 Central. Yeah, 6 to 9 Central, which means your program managers are not going to be in the office. Okay, so if you email us saying I can't get into my class, we're not going to be able to help you until the next day. Okay. If it's a weekend class, we won't be able to help you till Monday. So your best bet is if you can't get into that first class, email your instructor. They can either send it to you. They will be on to respond. Okay. Last thing, Ivy Learn, I mentioned this, is powered by a company called Canvas, C-A-N-V-A-S. They do have an app that can be downloaded to your phone. You're not going to really be able to use this for homework and stuff, but it's nice because it will have a calendar. It could have that inbox if you want to message an instructor, those types of things. So the app can be helpful in some cases, not for doing your homework necessarily, but for some of those other announcement syllabus type things. So I think that is it for Ivy Learn and My Ivy.
Thank you, Chrissy. Somebody had asked in chat about downloading the Windows 365.
Yeah, so as an Ivy Tech student, you do get free access to Microsoft 365. If you just go into your My Ivy, let me share my screen again here. And you should just be able to search for Microsoft 360. Let's see. You should be able to search for it there, and it should take you. That doesn't seem right. Hold on. See all. It should be in your My Ivy. Oh, I'm not showing my screen. It would help if I shared my screen. Okay. There should be somewhere in the quick links. Either you can search for it. See, I don't. 365. Office 365, Microsoft. So if you just search Microsoft 365, it should tell you how you can download that. So to use Microsoft 365 online, here's where it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to download that. Or if you want to actually download and install it, it will give you directions for that as well. So just do a search in your My Ivy for Microsoft Office 365, and you should be able to download it then.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
Nope, that was it.
The other thing that got brought up, and I hadn't mentioned this before, a lot of times people are looking for additional resources. As an Ivy Tech student, you also get access to LinkedIn Learning that has a lot of nice available stuff, resources in it for all kinds of things. Just do a search for LinkedIn Learning in the search bar, and you should be able to find that as well. You get a lot of nice free resources as being a quote unquote Ivy Tech student, as a CWCT student. So, all right. That should be it now.
Awesome. Thanks, Chrissy. So we have some of our PIs here who are going to talk about the 3 different tracks in the program. So each of you committed to a track, and which is digital forensics, system admin, or the AI track. I'm going to let Professor 2 pull up his screen because he normally wants to share to talk about the digital forensics track, but I'm going to turn it over to him as soon as he is ready to go.
Great. Thank you, Amber. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Michael Tu. I'm the PI for this CWCT project. So welcome to the orientation. So everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to talk about the forensics certificate program track. Okay. So I will first talk about the course plan, the course. So for this learning path, we have 6 courses, okay? And we have 3 fundamental courses. They are like TIA, Complete TIA A+ course and a Security Plus course, as well as the Cisco CyberOps course. So those courses are actually required by everybody who are admitted to CWCT course. So we will build then with the fundamental knowledge and skills in computer systems, right? Computers, basics, the network fundamentals, cybersecurity fundamentals. Okay, so with these 3 courses, it's kind of like you're ready for the entry-level jobs in cybersecurity. Okay, so and also this course will prepare you with the certifications, right? Like A+ certification and Security Plus certification and Cisco CyberOps certification. You do need to go through, after you've taken this course, you do need to take some certification preparation by yourself. For example, we provide you guys with the access to, it's called U-Certified sites, okay? So to take some practical quiz so you can prepare for the certification exam. Okay, so those are the 3 common courses. And then we have some specific, specific course. So the Linux system administration course, computer forensics, and CHFI. So we do expect you need to know a little bit about the Linux, okay? Linux fundamentals. So I'm not a Linux person, so of course I know some basics, but I'm not a expertise in this area. I think some of our instructors have talked about the Linux before, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. So for this Linux system course, you will learn. We should prepare you with the basic knowledge on Linux, the commands, right? And maybe a little bit about the scripting, to automate the process. And after taking the course, you probably will be able to take either the Complete TIA Linux Plus certification or the Red Hat, okay, Red Hat. But again, you have to kind of like go through some preparation before you actually taking the certification exam. So we do have another course called the CHFI course, okay? So even though the numbers is bigger, but actually the 255 course, the computer hacking forensic investigator is CHFI. So it's kind of like the basic about computer forensics. So it will talk a little bit about the policies, right? Procedures, a process for computer forensic investigation, law and regulations, especially, okay, law and regulations, okay. So then it will also cover a little bit about the fundamentals about forensic investigation, computer forensic investigation. For example, they were talking about some of the tools, okay, mainly the open source tool. So Octopus, I don't know if anybody know Octopus or not, but it's a free tool, okay? And everybody can download from online and install on your own machine. So it will provide a lot of, it's a very powerful tool, provide a lot of functions to help you to analyze the evidence once you have the image, okay? Once you have the image. So it should be able to help you to analyze the file system, okay? File system, the registration, and some other like maybe operating system files and some of the offers file, okay? So it is an open source tool, okay? Open source tool. So the computer forensic course is actually a more advanced course, okay? Based on 255. So it mainly covers the Windows forensics in our learning, our curriculum design, okay? In our curriculum design. So it will cover the Windows part, operating system, of course, right? And we will talk a lot about the file systems, the FAT file system, NTFS, and GPT file systems, and the registry, Windows registry, and offers. Talk a lot about offers, and especially the Windows operating systems. So they have lots of artifacts that we will cover. Okay, so we do have so after this forensic course, so this is a 6th course, right? we do have optional courses called mobile forensics. So the materials are ready, and we just need to find a good time. If you have a great demand, then we will, plan to offer. Okay, we plan to offer as an optional course. So in that course, we will use the commercial tool. Well, it's actually the Celebrite. Okay, so for the 235 course, actually we were using FTK. Okay, which is also a commercial tool. So the mobile forensic course, we are going to, yes, again, we will cover the iPhones, right? Okay, acquisition, and talking about the iPhone artifacts, right? And also the other phone, the type of phone. So right, okay. So anyway, it will be a optional course. Only if you have a great demand, then we will going to cover. Okay, so we will cover not about the applications, but also cover a little bit about the SQLite database. Okay, SQLite database, which is all the main file to store those evidence files. Okay, so those are the course curriculums, and here are some I would see. I give you an example about the sample session, right? So again, the A+ course is required by everybody, and that's the basic. Okay, you have to take A+, then you can take some other course. Well, except the Linux, right? So you can take A+ and Linux at the same time, even though we recommend you just take one. Okay, but if you have time, you can take up to 2. So after those 2 courses, then you will take Cisco CyberOps and the CHA5. Okay, CHA5. So then you can take this in parallel. But for you to take CyberOps, I believe you have to take kind of like Linux, right? Okay. But anyway, you will receive a lot of advice from the enrollment team. And after that, you will take this Security Plus course and the computer forensic, which is mainly using FTK and focus on the Windows forensics. Okay, I think that's pretty much I would like to cover and talking about that. And again, you will see there's a lot of certifications, right? A+, Linux, and CHA5, right? And CyberOps, you will be able to, and the Security Plus, you can take like up to 5, right? And the Windows forensic, before we will have the ACE certification, but now they only focus on the FTK softwares. And even though the course will prepare you well, but that's not our main purpose. Okay. Okay, that's pretty much everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And then Dr. Xi is going to talk to us about the system admin track. So I'm going to let Dr. Xi pull up his slide. So for those of you in system admin, he's going to go over the courses and some of the jobs and certifications with that track.
Okay, thank you, Amber. So I guess I have about 8 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry. So here, great to be here and meet all the new faces and some old faces. Welcome to this track. My understanding is a lot of, among the 3 tracks, probably this one, the cybersecurity system administration, always have a lot of people taking those advanced courses. I guess one of the reasons is simply because of the Linux administration is required by 2 tracks. So let me quickly go to this program requirements, as Dr. Tu already mentioned. So each track has 6 courses, 3 common core courses and 3 advanced courses. So Dr. Tu already mentioned the 3 core courses across all tracks. So I will not repeat that. For system administration track, essentially we have the following 3 advanced courses: Linux system administration, which is required for both digital forensics and the system administration. And that's we so far have seen a lot of people taking this course, and the feedback is pretty positive. Then we also have this ethical hacking. which essentially will prepare you for the EC Council CEH certification exam. For Linux system administration, the corresponding most matching certification would be the Red Hat Certified System Administrator. Although that the knowledge you gain from this course also prepare you very well for the CompTIA Linux Plus, I think. Yeah, next we'll see this kind of the mapping. The last advanced course is Cloud System Administration. So for this course, we mainly focus on the open source cloud platform called OpenStack. You probably have heard about like Google Cloud or Amazon AWS or the Microsoft Azure. They are different. They are commercial, proprietary platforms. But for OpenStack, it's free. It's used by many large organizations and enterprises and supported by the industry, especially Linux Foundation. So the main concepts and skills you learn from this cloud system administration can be easily applied to other cloud operations, cloud system operations. For example, later, if you happen to manage AWS or the Google Cloud, you will find, although some operations are different, but conceptually, they are very similar. So that's why we pick open source or open source system for teaching this course. And Red Hat, fortunately, Red Hat has a corresponding course actually for OpenStack. So our course content are largely matching with the course for their entry level for their first course in the OpenStack administration provided by Red Hat. So you can see this the sample sessions by this plan of study. Suppose you want to take 3 sessions, which is pretty demanding. Essentially, you have to take 2 courses each session. I hope that most of you will not take that route if not necessary. So just to take 1 or 2 courses each time. For people who already finished some courses, then it's better just take 1 course for each advanced course in each session. So the actually put Linux system administration in session 1. I'm not sure exactly this would be the best choice, because if you never run into Linux system, there would be a pretty high learning curve for you. I would say that our instructors, our 3 main Linux instructors, this time 4 added 1 more. They are great. They have been teaching this course since the very beginning, and they are very experienced, very familiar with the content, and they are certainly hands-on oriented. So they will do demonstration. They will give time for you to do labs during the course time. So just to follow their instructions and try to do those homework, those assignments as soon as you can, so that if you have any question, you can raise your hand during the lecture hours. Okay, so system administration definitely is very important because it's for both core tracks and a lot of content, actually a lot of content. And if you, here shows the Red Hat Certified System Administrator or CompTIA Linux Plus. Yeah, that's corresponding certification exams. And for the CompTIA Security Plus and Cisco CyberOps, those are common core courses. I'm not expert in that area, so I will skip that. Then for the Cloud System Administration, here we do not list a corresponding certification, but actually you can take a special kind of certification called Red Hat Certified System Administrator in OpenStack. So that's kind of I would say a variant of this RHCSA tailored for the OpenStack environment. So you can find it from the Red Hat website. Yeah, the last one, ethical hacking. This is also very important course. And here I forgot to mention that you have to pay attention to those prerequisite courses. Yeah, for example, for the cloud administration, you have to take both Linux administration as well as the cyber ops. Okay, general rule of thumb is to follow their instructor's order, and if they want you to finish the assignments like within the week, try to do that. And if you cannot, try to watch those videos because they are still very informative, in my opinion. So I guess that's I run out of time. That's basically about this system administration track. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Dr. Shi. And then for our last track, our AI track, we have Professor Farina Sakib. I'm going to let Farina pull up her slide to talk about our AI track.
All right. So Amber, I'm not able to share my screen. Oh, maybe because we still have some screen to share.
See if it'll go up now. Oop.
Dr. Chi, are you sharing the screen? If you can unshare, maybe I'll be able to share my screen.
There we go.
All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be part of this orientation. And this is the third track of the CWCT offering. It is cybersecurity artificial intelligence, which is the AI track. Similar to the first two tracks that were introduced you to 6 courses. The first 3 courses are the core courses. So it's pretty much what Dr. Chu has already briefed you all about. What are the expectations? It's to make you able to take the fundamentals and make you ready to take the advanced courses. So in this track, the 3 advanced courses are Python Essentials, AI and machine learning and cybersecurity, and IoT hardware security. So these 3 advanced courses basically prepares you for the state-of-art new technology, which is kind of the talk of the town now, and how these technologies apply for cybersecurity. So these, the first one is Python. It's a programming language. It's interpreted language. There are several other programming languages which you probably already have taken. Some of that like C, C++, or Java. Python is really in a lot of demand in the area of cybersecurity. A lot of libraries are developed for cybersecurity. So that is why we ask, when you are taking the specialized track of AI, you start off with Python, because from there this takes you from the basics of how to program, what are the interfaces, design environments that are available. It gives you the interface to program, see the outputs, and then applying the Python language for cybersecurity applications. So this is more of a foundational course, which we recommend you take this before you can take the artificial intelligence or the IoT hardware security class, because you would be needing the foundations in Python before you can take these 2. The specialized courses, the AI or ML in cybersecurity. This is also a very advanced topic, and it will equip you with the definitions, basic understanding, and applications of machine learning. So it will take you from understanding what are the different types of machine learning, such as unsupervised learning, deep neural networks. So all these are introduced to you in this course. from the definition as well as applied. So this course has been developed by Dr. Matthew Cloud and his team, and a lot of the context is from the Intel. So it is really it prepares you with the technology that is being currently used in industry. Lastly, the course we have is IoT and hardware security class. This is again a very unique composition because hardware security is relatively a newer area in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity hands-on experience where you learn how the hardware security is different from the fundamental cybersecurity or software security, and also applying it and doing the labs. First, understanding what are the concepts, how is it different? For example, IP protection, intellectual property protection, hardware obfuscation, hardware security platforms like trusted platform modules, TPM, PUFs, physical unclonable functions. So what are the new concepts which are developed in the field of hardware security? And I'm applying them on hardware platform, which is a state-of-art hardware platform, FPGA, field programmable gate arrays. So this is a very interesting class. We learn how to apply these security threats on the IoT and their solutions for the IoT platforms. And this is the second time the course is being offered. We have separate remote computers that we have set up for the students to access the hardware and the computer. So you don't have to purchase the licenses or the hardware platform. So all of this is remotely connected. So it's almost like you're interfacing via cloud or through the remote connections. You will be logging in on remote machines that have all these hardware platforms that are connected on remotely that you can access. So this is a quick overview of the program, the three specialized courses in this track. So usually for each course, you are required to meet twice a week. It may be Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, Sunday, based on whatever courses you enroll. So if you are taking more than one course, then you can expect that 4 days a week is what you are committing for 3 hours each day. So you want to plan accordingly. So this is an example of a sample session which is available. Usually students, if you can accommodate, you can take up to 2 courses. We highly recommend do not take more than 2 courses. And for the first timers, we even recommend to take 1 course. As we are approaching and I won't be able to offer 1 course per session, but if you take this session, if this is your first time, you're taking first course, I would still recommend you take 1 course. Make sure that you can adjust with your responsibilities, other responsibilities with taking this course. And if you can manage, then you can go for 2 courses from the next session. But this is a sample sample plan of study for you. If you can adjust 2 courses, you might take 1 core course like CompTIA along with 1 specialized course Python. Python is the entry to AI, so you have to take this first, and you have to pass this class before you can get sooner than later. And then you can take Security Plus, Cisco CyberOps, and then lastly, AI and cybersecurity, IoT and hardware security. Do note that these 2 courses are offered alternatively. So you might need to check if in the next session you are enrolling whether the AI is being offered or hardware security. So one way or another, you can complete your plan of study. All right. So I will be happy to answer if there are any questions. But there are some, just to clarify, there are some certifications like you already know, which are which you can take, for example, after the CompTIA, you can take the A+ certification. Similarly, you have certifications like for the Python programming. So as you take the course, you will be given 2 weeks of break. And we highly encourage that once you have taken the course, within those given 2 weeks, you plan to take the certification. We highly encourage it. You're not required to do it within those 2 weeks, but since the material is fresh, we highly that you already should have been done with your assessment, that you are joining the orientation. So you should be able to take the 3 core courses along with the Python essentials in the first session. So all of these 4 courses are available in the specialized track. But other than that, for the other courses, you can see that you, for the Security Plus, your A+ course is required. For the cyber ops, you also need to have A+ course. And for the AI and IoT hardware security, you need to have your Python courses. Even though the sample plan of study says you can take these 2 together, but they're not offered together. They're offered every other session. So you have to plan accordingly and reach out to your program manager in case you have any questions. All right, thank you very much. Amber?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Farina. That's a lot of information you went over. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we actually have Professor Rami, who's going to be talking a little bit about cybersecurity job opportunities. And he's just going to give us a quick overview about that. Rami, are you ready?
Yes, hi everybody. How you doing today? I was having actually a speaker today to come today, but I don't know what happened. Must be stuck with some kind of government meeting here. Today I'm going to be talking about cybersecurity competition. Also going to be talking about some internship in the industry and cybersecurity jobs with the government. One of the first things I'd like to talk about is my name is Rami, and I'm actually program for cybersecurity and information assurance at Ivy Tech Community College of Valparaiso campus. And we actually win many cybersecurity competition, including state, regional, and national. And we go on this year to international. We go on this year to actually US Cyber Olympics, and we may be going to overseas somewhere overseas, maybe in Europe. But I'm going to talk about my passion for cybersecurity competition, and I have some website to share with everybody here. Some resources can really be.
Can you wait, Rami? I think Farina was still sharing her screen. I don't know if she stopped or not. I was seeing Farina's screen.
Please, thank you.
I had to choose yours to see yours. So I just, in case she hears this, yeah.
So can you guys see my screen? I shared my screen there. Let's see.
Thanks, Chrissy. I think mine is not shared now. Thanks for the.
Okay, so everybody should, yeah, good. So everybody should be seeing Rami's screen now. Yep, we're good.
Okay, so one thing you should do when it comes into cybersecurity careers is to really get involved in cybersecurity competition. At Ivy Tech, I've been doing cyber competition for over now 15 years. And one of the major cyber competition we do, me and student, is the US Cyber Challenge. This is an amazing cybersecurity competition. I encourage all of you absolutely to actually participate. We have a great news. I don't know if Prudence here today. I was planning to get Prudence today on the meeting, but I don't know if Prudence here or not. Actually, one of the CWCT student, this is a news to everybody here. I should have shared the news with you. All my CWCT staff here and friends. He won 2nd place in the nation in the US Cyber Challenge, and just recently last Friday. So he's going to Washington, DC for the National Cyber Bowl that takes place sometime on October 9th. Prudence was a CWCT student. He's still a student, and he was actually introduced to me by Professor Spiros Bemiatis, and I told him about the cyber competition, and he went and signed up for it, and he won 2nd place in the nation. So we're very proud of Prudence. He's one of you guys. He's also one of the amazing story and success story. He can tell you a lot of stuff about his success story in cyber competitions. But anyhow, so what is this cyber competition about? This is free, open to everybody. You have to be minimum a US resident or US citizen. For this cyber competition, we have 2 boot camp, one in June and one July. If you click on the schedule for June and July, you can see it's a Mondays to Thursday. We have the top-notch SANS Institute faculty who actually train government agency, not only just professional community, but also government agency. These actually the schedule we have for the June boot camp. As you can see, Mondays to Friday. we have a different section, and this is hands-on activity. In order to get actually into this cyber competition, you have to take an online exam. And the online exam is actually at this link. It's called CyberQuest. You have to go to this link, CyberQuest. And then there's a little exam. You have to click on registration. And you create an account, of course. And once you create an account, you'll be able to actually participate. You have to download some cyber competition files. And this was the competition took place this year. So this is something really I recommend to everybody. But in order to actually be invited to this free boot camp, you have to score somewhere in the 70% and above. You can see right now, this is also one of my Ivy Tech student who actually scored second place in the nation, got 100 out of 100. And he was qualified to go there. Unfortunately, he did not win the first or second, third place because he was in a different team. You get lucky sometimes. But anyhow, in order to actually get into this competition, you have to score at least 70%. Now, this exam was online, open book, open notes. You can take it up to 3 times. Every attempt, you have about 24 hours to take the exam. So what do you do in a week? Boot camp in June next year, in July next year. We actually, it's Monday to Thursday. This year was virtual because of we're still in the pandemic kind of area right now. So Mondays to Thursday. Every day you have a different topic and different instructor from SANS Institute. Remember, guys, those actual training, it goes thousands and thousands of dollars. If you take a course right now in SANS Institute, looking to pay anywhere between 5,000 plus or more for one course. So this to give you actually 4 different classes in here. And every day around lunchtime, again, we go by either Eastern or Pacific time if you're doing the June boot camp or the July boot camp. And there's a different also tracks and different type of subject introduced. Every day around lunchtime, we have actually some event like resume writing class. We have ethics matters. We invite somebody from the Security Service, FBI. We also invite top-notch CISO CIOs. This year, we have the Chief Information Officer of the United States, Maria Roth. She showed up, retired Deputy Federal CIO, and she showed up. And we also have NASA, we have DHS, we have FDIC, and so on and so forth. The job fair takes place on Thursday for that cyber competition and for that cyber boot camp, I should say. And on Friday, you do compete between 8:30 until 12:30. And after that, we go to award ceremony where that's when we invite some congressmen, senators, we invite somebody very active in cybersecurity. That's for the June and July boot camp. The winner of June and July boot camps also go to the Cyber Bowl in Washington, DC. And this year will also be virtual, but the award ceremony actually will be also in Washington, DC. The winners will get $1,000 cash check. They will get a voucher to go get some top-notch like CISSP certification. Also, they will be invited to the Department of Justice tour in the White House and the White House maybe tour this year, because one of the board of directors in the U.S. Cyber Challenge, if I might actually mention her name, she is the Deputy CIO, Department of Defense, Essie Miller. She's on a board with us right now, and she volunteers. And hopefully this year we'll get an invitation to the White House and student will be invited. So please be active with this. Hopefully you will get to learn about cyber competition. As I say, it's really easy. You gotta take a little exam here, and this is open book, open note, 24 hours for this exam. The other cyber competition that I really highly recommend you should do, that's really easy, and it's not, I should say easy, it's actually amazing cyber competition. This is something you have to pay for, it is not free. This have to be $35 to $45. And currently we have the schedule for the 2022 for fall. And I think I can get you guys the schedule. I think I have one of this open here available for you. You can look up actually the date. This will take place August 22nd, October 6th. You have actually the gymnasium where you can practice all different types of cyber competition scenarios in different domains like cryptography, open source intelligence, and wireless exploitation, and so on and so forth. Then you have 3 different you have the practice game, which is cyber kind of competition to place you into an into advanced, intermediate, or introductory student in that cyber competition. And then you go to the individual game, and finally you compete with your teams, and the team's about 5 or 10 students. So these are the dates. You please get involved. Don't stay on the sideline. We're very proud of you that you actually came into this CWCT training and you qualify for it. The next thing is get involved in the cyber competition. This is one of the best cyber competition. I think I logged into my Ivy Tech because I work in Ivy Tech. This is when you log in, this is what you're looking at. So what do you get out of it? You get a scouting report. It shows you can use this as part of your portfolio and you go apply for cyber jobs. Let's say when I apply for clearancejobs.gov and say, have you done any cyber activity? It says, yes, I did actually what? Did US Cyber Challenge, I did National Cyber League, and there's a lot of other cyber competition that I recommend also. I have a lot of them in Ivy Tech. We won the best cybersecurity program, state of Indiana, Valparaiso campus in 2019, because we did over like 8 cyber competition, including the Cyber Force. If I can take you here to the Cyber Force.
Hey, Rami, before I just have a quick question that I'm
Go ahead.
sure a lot of these people are thinking about, because a lot of these participants are just starting in August, they're not going to have classes yet, but are there certain classes within the CWCT program that you recommend them having done first before they start getting involved with these competitions to give them what they need to be successful in it?
Exactly. So this is a great question. One of the actual track you could do is get at least your Security Plus certification in cyber ops. Get at least taking 2 cyber classes like Security Plus and cyber ops. You should be ready actually for this type of competition. You really need a basic understanding of cybersecurity domains and be able to learn a little bit about Linux, a little bit about operating systems, a little bit about computer networking. Cyber ops will introduce you to the networking. Security Plus will introduce a lot of concepts. Now, you can wait until you become certified ethical hacking if you choose that track under system administration, cybersecurity, and you could be qualified for more advanced competition. I'm not talking about advanced competition. All this competition I'm introducing right now, I have a lot of great news to share with you guys, a lot of great news here. So this competition is you could be 100% beginner, totally beginner, like this one. I'm logged in right now. You should have no background and you still can practice here. This is really your first cybersecurity competition. I highly recommend National Cyber League because you go to gymnasium. When you go to gymnasium, you have multiple domains like open source intelligence, cryptography, password cracking. And if you click on one of these domains, there's actually an answer key to the question. They show you step by step how to do it. So this will get you started. You don't even need to know any cyber competition before. So this could be your first cyber competition. This is a great question, Chrissy. I agree with you. This is really great question. So once you get a couple of cyber competition, I have a lot of them. Also, we have the USCC. We also have the CCDC, also cyber competition here. I actually have one of the tabs open. I could show you that one later on, but I want to talk a little bit right now because I'm running out of time. I'll talk a little bit about some jobs for the US government and industry. And you guys all know when you become a cybersecurity professional, you should have some type of background check to make sure you're going to be actually looking at a lot of organization top notch, I should say, secrets. So you'll have the access to their network, topologies, and so on and so forth. So we really need to make sure you have some type of clearance, some type of vetting background. In order to do so, I recommend all my students, as long as you're a citizen, you can actually go to this website, intelligencecareers.gov, and you click on student. We have a lot of opportunity here for you. So we have many agencies, Defense Intelligence Agency, Homeland Security, we have National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, we have the National Reconnaissance Office, we also have the National Security Agency. I select any agency, and for your education, you want to select undergraduate. You can select any opportunity, including internships. You select an opportunity, and you can select right now cybersecurity. This is a great ideas here. And this is a great time for you to start because starting in August, because a lot of this application due date is October and November. So make sure you start early if you want to get, this is for next year's summer next year. By next year's summer, you should have at least a couple of cybersecurity classes. You at least have attended 1 or 2 certification, maybe done 1 cyber competition. You're ready to apply. I like the summer cyber program. You can see when you apply for National Security Agency, you have to send your resume, transcript, and 2-letter recommendation. Who could be better than you CWCT professors here? And also if you have somebody professional like employers, or if you are a former, of course, a lot of you actually veterans, and actually some of you active duty, so you could use your professional government network as your reference. And this is something I highly recommend. This is some of the jobs in cybersecurity. Today, I was actually inviting the president of the FBI InfoGuard, and FBI InfoGuard is an amazing agency. Should really all of you join because a lot of you are actually veterans. So this is InfoGuard, if I spell it correct. This is the link for it. Now you can actually join this organization. It takes you about I should hide my username, sorry. This is actually the organization. You're not supposed to log in, by the way, from work. You can only log in from home to it. And this is only open to those domains, critical infrastructure. So a lot of you, of course, defense, that's applied to you because you're government, right? So if you one of these sectors work in, let's say, in the IT field, in the emergency services sectors, you can qualify to join it, and you could actually have access to a lot of resources. I cannot log into it because this is sensitive, not a classified organization. Today I have the president of InfoGuard. He going to make it tonight and have some emergency last minute, and It was planning to talk to you guys about jobs with the US government and a lot of opportunity here. Also, feel free to join a lot of organization in your city or your capital of your state. For example, in Chicago, we have Northwest Indiana, we have the Electronic Crime Task Force, which is run by the United States Secret Service. We meet every month in Chicago downtown. And also the InfraGard, they have multiple meetings in every state. They have different chapters. I highly recommend you should actually join this organization. That's going to create a lot of opportunity for you to go into those conferences, meeting, and networking events, and you can actually expand your opportunity in cybersecurity. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in the next classes. I actually take care of the faculty hiring for the cybersecurity classes here. And if you have any question, reach out to me. I can put my emails there, my Ivy Tech emails, and good luck. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing those opportunities, Rami. We are just over we're 6:01, so if you need to leave, we completely understand. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully this information is helpful. You got to meet some of your instructors and got to see those platforms. So hopefully you're ready to roll for the week of August 15th. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. I'll be here for a couple minutes if you want to throw any questions into chat. Otherwise, you are free to go. Thanks so much again, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you all so much. Welcome.